So I'm modeling the process that I use when I am creating my Think Aloud for my model in a math lesson. And so after I have my learning target chosen and I have created my exit ticket and I've worked the exit ticket problem out to make the exemplar, I now know what I need to model for the kids. So I think about first, how can I tie this to what they already know? So if my learning target is I can solve two-step equations, I am going to begin with what they know from a 6th grade level and show them a very simple equation. And so from here, I want to make sure that it's I want to make sure that it's tied to previous, and I want to see what they watch me do. So I will just work this out. And the kids will tag here. They will tag what I do, because what I want them to see is I want them to recognize that I draw the river, that I do the inverse operation, and I use the vernaculum or the line to show division, and that I divide by the -6 because I have to isolate the n. They see my cancellation, and then they see me restate the answer and box it in, because this is going to tie into what I need them to do in my model. So from there, I dive into their prior knowledge and I ask them to tell me what they already know about equations. So at that point in my model, in my lesson plan, I want to know the previous learning and them to be able to define from this what is an equation. Then I'm like, okay, now it's ready for my example. So I choose an example problem. For Eureka, I usually use the model that's in the book unless it doesn't match my exit ticket properly or if it's not scaffolded right. And I choose that problem and I realize that I need to know what are the kids going to do when I'm modeling. So I'm going to make a graphic organizer that's going to have the example on one side and the steps on the other, so that the students can tag what I'm doing as I work the problem out. So in my lesson, I'll have the model out and I will make a list of what the steps are. This will come from my criteria of mastery. So I'll plan out the steps that I do to create this equation and to get the answer at the end, okay? So I go through each step with the students on the second problem, which would be my we do. And they use these steps with the sample problem that they put in their graphic organizer to do the we do with me. And all of my feedback ties into what we wrote in the model. This is also an anchor chart. So this graphic organizer you can use as your anchor chart. So not only do they have the resource in their notebook, but it's also hanging up in the classroom. From here in the we do, I want them to speak these steps to me as they're working and as if they have any questions. And then of course you go into your whiteboard or your you do at that point for your model.